The year is 1861. A nation is collapsing into itself. Brother is fighting brother. Smoke covers the horizon. Cities that once felt stable now echo with marching boots and distant cannon fire. But beneath the surface of this war, something unexpected is happening. Because the Civil War was not just a clash of armies. It became a brutal laboratory of survival. And inside that chaos, ordinary men, farmers, teenagers, blacksmiths, began creating tactics no general had officially planned. Not because they were trained, but because they were trapped. And survival forced innovation at a level history rarely talks about. What you're about to hear are forgotten battlefield tactics that quietly shaped modern warfare. And the deeper we go, the more disturbing it becomes. 20. False campfire deception. One of the earliest survival tricks was something deceptively simple: fake campfires. Soldiers would deliberately light fires in empty fields or abandoned positions during nighttime. From a distance, especially in fog or darkness, it looked like a full army had settled there for the night. Enemy scouts, relying heavily on sight rather than intelligence networks, would report massive troop presence where there was none. And the real army, already miles away, repositioning silently. What makes this tactic so powerful is not the fire itself, but the psychology behind it. In war, commanders react to what they believe is true, not what is true. And in many cases, entire battalions change direction, wasting time, supplies, and strategy, because of burning wood in the wrong place. This was not strategy. This was perception warfare. 19. Silent cloth marching. As battles became more chaotic, noise became deadly. Experienced soldiers quickly realized something. Metal gear betrays you. Rifles clinked. Boots hit the ground loudly. Equipment jingled with every step. So they began wrapping cloth, rags, and even strips of clothing around boots and metal gear. The goal was total silence. During night raids, this made entire units nearly invisible. Imagine a group of 100 men moving through forests and fields, but producing almost no sound. Outposts would remain unaware until the attack had already begun. And often, by the time a soldier realized something was wrong, it was already too late. Silence became a weapon stronger than bullets. 18. Dummy soldier positioning. This tactic came from desperation. Soldiers started building fake human figures using uniforms, straw, sticks, and hats. They would place these soldiers in visible positions, on hills, behind rocks, or near trenches. From a distance, especially through smoke or poor visibility, these decoys looked real. Enemy snipers and artillery units wasted precious ammunition targeting them. But the deeper purpose wasn't just deception. It was emotional manipulation. Because every wasted shot made the enemy believe they were hitting something important, making them reveal their position or overcommit firepower. And meanwhile, real soldiers stayed hidden, waiting. In war, sometimes survival depends on what the enemy thinks they see, not what actually exists. 17. Controlled smoke firing. Most people think smoke in battle is accidental, but some units learn to create it deliberately. By coordinating volleys of gunfire at specific intervals and positions, soldiers generated thick layers of battlefield smoke. Instead of random chaos, it became controlled cover. Under that smoke, troops would reposition, retreat, or flank without being seen. To the enemy, it looked like confusion. But inside the smoke, it was movement, organized and purposeful. This tactic blurred the line between visibility and invisibility. And in many battles, whoever controlled the smoke, controlled the field. 16. Metal rhythm communication. Communication in war was deadly if exposed. Shouting orders could get you killed. Signal flags could be intercepted. Gunfire alerts gave away positions. So soldiers created something quieter. They began tapping metal objects, canteens, rifles, knives, in coded rhythmic patterns. Short taps meant movement. Long pauses meant stop. Repeated patterns carried messages across distances. It was primitive, but effective. And most importantly, it was invisible communication in a world where visibility meant vulnerability. Entire units coordinated movements without ever speaking a word. War became a silent language of rhythm. 15. Fake retreat baiting. This tactic exploited one of the strongest instincts in war: greed. A small group of soldiers would deliberately break formation and appear to panic. They would run, loudly, visibly, convincingly. Enemy troops, believing they had broken the enemy line, would chase aggressively. But this chase led them into prepared kill zones, hidden lines of fire, ambush points, or fortified positions. The victory they thought they had was an illusion. And in seconds, the hunters became the hunted. What makes this tactic so dangerous is psychological certainty. Because when soldiers believe they are winning, they stop thinking carefully. And that moment of confidence is where traps work best. 14. Terrain poison detection. Not all threats came from bullets. Some came from the land itself. Scouts learned to read terrain like a warning system. If animals avoided water, it was suspected poison. If insects gathered strangely, something was wrong. If soil looked discolored, movement was stopped. Even rivers were treated with suspicion. Soldiers would test water indirectly, using cloth absorption or observing animal reactions before drinking. Because one mistake didn't just affect one soldier. It could wipe out an entire unit silently. This wasn't just survival skill. It was environmental intelligence under pressure. 13. Echo misdirection firing. In dense forests and valleys, sound becomes unpredictable. Soldiers learned to exploit this. By firing shots at angled directions, they created echo effects that made enemy forces believe they were surrounded by larger numbers. The forest itself became part of the illusion. Echoes bounced, multiplied, and confused enemy judgment. A small unit could sound like an entire battalion firing from multiple directions. And in war, perception often triggers retreat faster than reality triggers action. 12. Shadow timing movement. Movement became a science. Soldiers studied sun angles, cloud cover, and terrain shadows. They learned to move only during moments of reduced visibility, when clouds blocked sunlight or terrain naturally concealed movement. Entire regiments synchronized movement with nature itself. To enemy observers, it looked like troops appeared and disappeared like ghosts. But in reality, it was timing, discipline, and survival awareness. 11. Burn diversion tactics. Fire was both weapon and distraction. Small controlled burns were set deliberately in one area to draw enemy attention. As scouts and commanders focused on the visible fire, real troop movement happened elsewhere, quiet, hidden, and far more important. This tactic exploited one simple truth. Humans always look at what is bright. And in war, attention is as valuable as ammunition. 10. False casualty fields. This is where tactics become psychologically heavier. Soldiers would stage fake injury zones, abandoned uniforms, scattered gear, and arranged battlefield remnants to slow enemy advances. From a distance, it looked like heavy losses had occurred there. Enemy forces hesitated. They slowed down. They regrouped. And that hesitation created gaps in their momentum. Because in war, speed is dominance. And hesitation is vulnerability. 9. Reverse trail escape. Retreat is not running. It is controlled disappearance. Soldiers created false trails, footprints leading in wrong directions, broken branches misleading movement, and staged supply drops meant to confuse pursuers. Enemy tracking units would follow these false paths deep into empty terrain. Meanwhile, the real army vanished through alternate routes. It was like chasing a shadow. 8. Psychological silence warfare. This is where war becomes mental. During critical moments, entire units would stop firing completely. No movement, no sound, no reaction. Enemy soldiers, expecting resistance, suddenly faced silence. And that silence created fear. Because silence in war is never neutral. It either means defeat or an ambush waiting to happen. Most enemies chose to retreat rather than risk finding out. 7. Weapon illusion masking. Soldiers sometimes displayed damaged or outdated weapons in visible positions while hiding functional ones behind cover. From a distance, enemy forces judged them as poorly equipped or weak. That misjudgment led to aggressive attacks. But when engagement began, reality hit differently. Perception failed them. 6. Disrupted formation chaos. Instead of maintaining strict military lines, some units deliberately broke formation. They moved unpredictably across terrain. To trained armies, this looked like disorder. But in reality, it created unpredictable firing angles and constant pressure from multiple directions. Traditional tactics couldn't adapt quickly enough. Order lost to chaos. 5. Supply trail deception. Retreating armies left fake supply trails, abandoned crates, scattered gear, and misleading movement signs. Enemy forces followed these traces, expecting to find exhausted soldiers. Instead, they found empty paths. And while they were misled, the real army had already escaped. 4. Controlled panic signaling. Soldiers used noise, movement, and sudden bursts of action to simulate confusion or larger troop activity. This wasn't random chaos, it was controlled psychological disruption. The enemy couldn't distinguish real attacks from fake pressure. And in confusion, mistakes multiply. 3. Absolute silence warfare. During peak battle tension, entire units would freeze their action completely. No firing, no movement, no communication, just silence. This created psychological breakdown in enemy ranks. Because humans fear the unknown more than the visible enemy. And in that silence, imagination became the enemy's worst weapon. 2. False strength illusion. Through coordinated movement, echo manipulation, and visible positioning, small units appeared much larger than they actually were. Enemy commanders overestimated their opposition. And that overestimation led to retreat, hesitation, or tactical errors. In war, fear of strength can be stronger than strength itself. 1. Adaptive chaos formation. And finally, the most powerful forgotten tactic. There was no formation at all. Soldiers abandoned structure completely, spreading unpredictably across terrain. From the enemy's perspective, it looked like collapse. But in reality, it was controlled chaos. No clear target. No stable line. No predictable movement. Just pressure from every direction at once. It confused even experienced commanders because traditional military logic depends on structure. And when structure disappears, strategy collapses. This idea quietly influenced modern guerrilla warfare, special forces tactics, and urban combat strategies used today. Not because it was planned, but because it worked. And that's the hidden truth of the Civil War. It wasn't just fought with weapons. It was fought with imagination under pressure. And it leaves one final question. If ordinary people, placed under extreme survival conditions, can invent tactics like these, then what else in history has never been properly recorded? And more importantly, what would you create if survival depended on your next decision? History is not just what happened, it's what was never fully told. And sometimes, survival creates tactics more powerful than war itself. Thank you for being here with me.